Hello, beautiful souls of the World Wide Web, and welcome back to Bold and Free, the podcast for the ambitious women of the Aquarian Age. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce my guest, Heather Smith. Heather is the founder of Intuitive Mama. She's an energy healer, quantum coach, and also works with past life regression therapy. Welcome, Heather. I'm so thrilled to have you here today. You've created something truly special with the Intuitive Mama, and I can't wait to dive into your journey. Before we begin, I want to ask you, what is your intention for this conversation? What do you hope people to take away from it today?
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's so nice to get face to face, even over a platform.
Yeah.
I think my intention today is just to let the listeners know that they are in complete power over their reality and hopefully give them some tips along the way of how to get to their next best expression.
Good. What a program. Great. Heather, you are based in Omaha, Nebraska, and you founded Intuitive Mama. But tell us more about the heart behind your work. What inspired you to create this platform? And was there a moment in your life that sparked this journey?
Well, I became a mother, which can change so much. And in that moment, it also happened to be right around COVID. So it was really a chance to reflect inward and start to uncover these things about how I was raised and what I wanted to pass on or not to my own child. So yeah, I really had that time and space to go inward and uncover the different pieces of my story. And then it started to all kind of make sense where the things I witnessed as a child were showing up, in my teens and then in my 20s and then in my 30s. And it was when I started uncovering this and I came across the work I do now when I really started shifting out of these realities and seeing that progress or like knowing it's possible just gives me so much hope. And the fact that when you become a mother, this is actually like your initiation to go within if you haven't yet, because this is the chance to break generational patterns and really raise the next world leaders in a way that's, so compassionate and full of love and light and all the good things we want in the world.
Okay. So tell us more about your work because I did start to speak a little bit about it, but I want to know more. Help us.
Okay, yeah. So I work with clients both one-on-one and I also have a group program called Quantum Healing Blueprint. But the basis of my work is really rooted in subconscious reprogramming. So, first, we need to understand the patterns. So, we look within at our inner child and our shadow, and we start uncovering okay, these are the pieces of my life that are still affecting me. And a lot
I
of
lost
times
you.
it shows up when you're actually being triggered. And so, I like to say having children is they're kind of like our little healers because they pull strings that spark
We're
something
still
in us.
recording, but I
And
don't know why.
those
I have
moments.
Wi-Fi. I lost you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me
So
now? You were frozen, but I was like, maybe it's still recording. Can you
come
hear me?
back. Come
Yay.
back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Should I start over?
Wait a minute, because we don't see you yet on the
Okay.
screen.
Okay.
You're still frozen. Oh my God. Doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, we'll do it again another day.
Okay.
There, don't worry. But I can cut everything and then put it together, so don't worry. Um, Oh yeah, you're back. You're
I'm back.
back. Yeah, apparently
Okay.
there a Wi-Fi problem on your side? Because I checked it's okay with me.
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, okay. So, um, yes, tell us more about your work.
Okay.
What you do.
Um, yes. So I work with clients both one-on-one, and I also have a group program and a membership. But the basis of my work is kind of based on three things, which is the subconscious rewiring, which takes a lot of understanding. Sometimes, the healing just comes with the revelation of the pattern that's showing up. And I like to say our children are sometimes our little healers because they trigger things in us. And these moments can either be annoying and make us mad, or we can look, okay, what did my inner child not receive? And what is my soul begging to understand about this moment? And so when you start to uncover these pieces based on what's happening in your external world and integrating your shadow and reparenting your inner child and understanding all of these triggers and why they're there, you're able to kind of zoom out in life, and you just understand that literally everything is a gift. And even in these moments that are hard or challenging, that cause, negative emotions, which aren't negative, they're just a frequency. It's really our opportunity to heal and get to the next best expression and not let them affect us anymore. So then the second part of the process, after you start kind of unraveling and rewiring these programs, is the nervous system regulation. And we do this through EFT, which is tapping, and somatic expression. I'm a huge fan of rage dancing. So, hot tip for the audience, if you're feeling in a moment of chaos, especially if you have toddlers like me, put on some loud music and just start moving, shaking, getting that energy out, because energy loves to flow. And then that's the third piece of the puzzle, is understanding about all of this energy and stopping your energy leaks and strengthening your aura, and really coming at every interaction from this place of compassion and divine oneness and all of these beautiful hermetic principles that make the universe run as it does.
Okay. How long have you been practicing this work?
Oh my goodness. Well, my oldest is 5, so I would say about 5 years.
Yes.
The first year was definitely,
Good. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
same. You've likely faced challenges along the way, those moments that test our strength and resolve. Can you share one of the most difficult challenges you've encountered?
Mm. I think it starts when I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, which is a
Yes.
religious
I've been
organization. Yeah.
there.
And it was peaceful enough, but we had to be quiet a lot. We didn't get answers to some questions, and as a young child, we'd have to sit in church, what we call the meetings, for 5 hours per week. And now we know children aren't meant to sit still like that. We didn't have Sunday school. This was like sit and get the get the message. Um, and what I realized is then I became a teenager and I wanted to do the teenager things. I wanted to have fun and have a boyfriend. And my mom, God bless her, everyone's always doing the best they can, but she wanted to keep me safe, which to her meant not allowing me to do things. And so what did I do? I lied. And my whole life was a lie. I felt like as a young child, I had to lie because the religion was not widely accepted and we didn't celebrate holidays, and I didn't vibe with it, and I didn't want that to be my reality. So I felt like I had to hide it. And then in high school, I had to hide who I really was from my mom because that's how I was accepted. Like, you had to be good and do certain things to be accepted or be good.
Be
And
loved.
then exactly. And then what I realized is it kept showing up because then in my early 20s, I got in a toxic relationship where there was no honesty. I was very much a victim to his emotional swings, I guess, emotional capacity. And again, I know there's no blaming. I understand that everyone's here on this journey together. And so I was playing out this blocked throat chakra, which I know now, that also came out in this inauthenticity, in this new expression that wasn't with my mom, but with a partner. And then it came up even again when I got with my current partner, because he was in a relationship, not emotionally, but on paper. And so it was still like this thing I had to hide. And he was my soulmate. And it was like, how is this still showing up? Like, my life gets a little better each time. And there's still this thing that's tethering me down to not being truly happy. So having the baby broke all that free. He was my catalyst, and it was, there's no more letting it happen to me. I had to figure it out.
No more mask. You
Yes,
have to be yourself now. Yeah,
exactly.
do you think that you've been also, as you said, you were lying and not being honest, and do you think that your relationship were mirroring what you were feeling inside also?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing because everything's a mirror, everything. So it takes a lot of reflection.
And how did the your child help you in this?
When he came about, there was no more lying or hiding, like in the relationship I was at and everything, that all the external opinions about that relationship and stuff, like everything had to fall away. Like, we are in love, we're having a child, like there's no more of everyone else's agenda. And there's no more of me like proving to anyone or proving myself or anything. It was like, this is how things are going to be. He was the catalyst that like broke down all these layers that because of my reflection, because of the things I hadn't healed of myself, they just like couldn't be there. He like broke down all the walls, and it was hard at the time. And I'm so grateful. Like, it had to be that way.
Yeah, yeah. How did you find the courage to move forward all this? Because as you said, your partner and soulmate was in a relationship, so this is not easy. This is not easy.
No, it was not easy, and it was a couple years. And the thing was, like, everyone knew, and everyone else wanted to play out their own agenda based on their own need for control or their own patterns that they were playing out. And that's what happens when you're in relationships or even business partnerships. It's like everyone has these different moments that they need to get something out of for their soul to evolve. And I think, especially becoming a new mom, you kind of feel very lost. And I was kind of aimless, and I didn't know what was my direction. And so, for anyone listening that's feeling like that, I would say start to look within, because it doesn't seem easy and it doesn't seem fun, but it also doesn't have to be that hard. And when you understand these things about yourself, that's when your life starts opening up. And that's when all of these facades fall away, because you're being true to who you are and your own understanding of yourself.
And what did this experience teach you about yourself or about life?
Ugh, that we have so much more power than we could possibly know.
Yeah. Yeah. What can we say? Many women feel stuck in their lives and they have dreams, but they hesitate to pursue them. What would you say to someone who feels paralyzed by fear or doubt? What would you say?
Mm. How does it feel to hang on to that fear and still have that same fear in 5 years and then in 10 years? Where is your life in 10 years if you don't let go of that fear? And they'll probably answer in the same spot. And that feels very inverting. And so when you can move through that fear and get out of your comfort zone, then that fear gets to dissipate. It no longer owns you. It's no longer keeping you stuck. And the only
No
thing you're
longer on
actually
you.
scared of
No longer
is
on
that
you.
that moment of emotion.
Yeah, beautiful. Um, was there even a time where you were stuck and you felt stuck, and how did you overcome it?
Mm. I think I did feel stuck in that early relationship in my 20s, the unhealthy relationship, because of fear. Exactly what you just mentioned is sometimes, even though I knew it wasn't serving me and I was a victim to someone else's emotions, and I even felt like I was cut off from friends, I knew it wasn't serving me. And the idea of not being with that person or not having a relationship at all felt scarier than just going with the flow, I guess, which I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, I should have ended this way before. But it makes sense. And that's what our mind does, because it wants to keep us in the familiar. It doesn't know good or bad. And
Yeah,
now it's just like when something feels uncomfortable, then that's not what your soul desires. And there's a way out.
yeah. No compromise with your soul. If you go back and have a conversation with your younger self, perhaps that little girl who had big dreams, what would you say to her now?
Mm. I would say that it's all going to drop in when she chooses herself first.
We often hear about what it means to be a strong woman. For you today, what does it mean to be a strong woman in today's world?
Mm. In today's world, I think being a strong woman is listening to your intuition over external noise. And there's so much we can allow in, and a lot of it's fear-based or has an agenda, or even just opinions about where your kid goes to school. Like, we can get bombarded with so much information and we can thought spiral and overthink, but your soul, your inner self, your highest self knows it all. And when you can start going within and getting messages from deep meditation or your guides or gods and know what's true to you versus the external noise, like that's power.
Okay. How about your clients? Who are they, and how do they find you? What do they want? Do they want to be strong? Are they strong? What's the profile of your clients?
Most of my clients have like done therapy and they meditate and they probably do yoga and still something's missing. A lot of times they've done everything on paper that we were taught was the right way. Like they went to college and then they got married and then they had a kid and they have maybe even a career and they're like, why am I not more fulfilled in life? And so, really, my work takes it to the next level where sometimes therapy is great about understanding maybe what your triggers are, what your patterns are. And my work kind of takes it to this like energetic alchemy of, okay, now how are we going to move the energy around this? Where is it stuck in our body? And is this tied to an ancestral trauma? Is this even mine? Because a lot of times when you've already uncovered these certain things about yourself and you have an unexplainable pattern or fear, it's hanging on either from a past life or an ancestral thread that you have not yet explored. And that's kind of what sets my work apart, is this, I guess, zoomed out approach of the whole soul's evolution versus here on earth in this human body right now.
And what can you say to people who have never been trying regression in past lives
Hmm.
therapy? What can you
I
tell
always
them?
say, I always say take what resonates and leave what doesn't, but approach everything with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can go into regression that's just to younger you. And a lot of times you'll organically be put back in a situation that you know is you, and you're in a different time, and you know what you're wearing, and you see a building, and later you look it up and that information is 100% spot on, but you had no conscious awareness of it. And when you have these experiences of being in these moments and seeing what's happening or feeling the emotions or getting the lesson from it, there is no denying that your journey is bigger than what you think it is.
And talking about the past, do you think our definition of strength has evolved over time? And if so, how?
Oh, 1000%. It's kind of this whole feminine movement right now, isn't it? Where strength used to be stoic and powerful and protective. And now we're finding all this power in expressing our emotions and being vulnerable and understanding that our voice, even sharing what I shared with you and the audience today, it's freeing. And how
Mm.
amazing when we get to just share and be authentic, and that gets to be the medicine that helps someone else on their journey. That's powerful.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. So, coming back to when you were a little girl dreaming about your future, what did you imagine?
When I was a little girl, I wanted every day to feel like the weekend. Like, I don't think I remember. I didn't know if there was like one thing I wanted to be. I changed my mind a lot. I'm a manifesting generator, but I knew, because especially how I grew up in all the like church time and stuff, I was like, I want every day to feel like the weekend. And I think I've accomplished that in life.
How do those dreams align or differ from where you are today?
It's literally my life. I feel like I get to work on this business and it's so rewarding, and I get to help people, and my children are around me, and um my life's just so easy. Every day is the weekend. Like, I like Mondays, there's nothing that I'm doing out of obligation. And it just took like following what was true to my heart, uncovering this stuff, following my dharma. And when you are like living and doing what your soul came here to do, it is, ugh, you'll never get burnt out, I think. It's always exciting.
Yeah. And do you think that this little girl would be proud of you, who you've become?
Yes, she would be very proud.
That's very nice. What were you doing before you create this work for yourself?
It's funny because I was a certified sommelier. I taught people about wine, and I managed a fine dining restaurant.
Wow,
And
that's amazing. It's completely
yeah,
different.
it seems completely different. And for a while, that seemed like something weird. Like that was like a shadow part, like I wasn't in alignment. And now,
I wouldn't say shadow, but it's really, really, really different. Yes.
yeah. But now I realize that it's one, holding space for a lot of people, which I do now, and two, using your senses to taste wine is not all that different than using your senses to understand what's coming through in meditation or in your Akashic records or in your past life regression, because you are using all of your clairs, all of your senses, and deciphering what that means. And so it's actually really similar.
You have to have a great sensitivity. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
in the senses. That's great. Oh, I like it. Um, well, Heather, thank you for sharing so openly today. Before we close, I'd love to know, what are you most proud of in your journey so far? And what message would you like to leave with everyone listening today?
Mm. I think I'm most proud of just showing up in authenticity and in a way that even when crappy things happen, I understand that there's a bigger purpose, and I have like such grace for even people that, you know, aren't maybe operating at the highest frequency. I just understand kind of where they are. And when we can all have this kind of understanding and compassion for each and every person's journey, it one gives you peace, and it also like stops that energy leak for them too, because you're not, there's no, I don't know, conflict, energetic ickiness. Yeah.
What would be the message for the people that you would leave today?
I think the message is that you have the total power about deciding what your reality is. And so anything in your life that isn't living up to what your highest self knows is meant for you, all you have to do is uncover where you're stuck, and you can heal it, and it gets to be better, and it gets to be easy.
Can you be more precise about, because it's a message that we often hear in the yogic world and in the wellness industry, but I think that people want to know more about that. It's like, yeah, you say we're powerful, blah, 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 but they don't. We live in a very hard time today. So people are, this is how I see it, are quite skeptical. So
Mhm.
what would you say to them, like to go deeper into your answer here?
That's a really great point, and I feel that too, especially because it's hard to know who you can trust when we're so bombarded with so much information in the online space. And so I think that there's a lot you can do within yourself. And so the first step is, I think, quieting your mind. And I always say start with meditation, because the more you can trust yourself, maybe play with even muscle testing or the sway test, because the more you just practice, it's a muscle. The more you practice trusting yourself and your gut and your intuition, the more you'll line up with the person that is meant to guide you. If you can't do it on your own, which I get, sometimes we want the blueprint, right? That's what my program's called, the Quantum Healing Blueprint, because it is easy to find someone that can take that step by step. Or you might have multiple mentors, like maybe one person has this and one person has this, but your intuition, you're the only one that knows. I always say you're your own healer. Like no one's going to heal you, but it's okay to have a guide, and you will know who that person is. And if you're feeling like you don't know how, then just start with meditating and trusting yourself.
How do people find you? Do you have an office? How do we find you, and how do we work with you?
All my work is remote via Zoom. And so my Instagram is where I hang out the most, which has tons of insights, amazing examples of sessions I've done and tips and all the good things. So it is at intuitive_mama_. And then my website is intuitivemama.com, which of course has a little bit more about me and all my programs and offerings. And yeah, I think you can sign up for my email list, and there's a whole list of freebies, highest self-activation, EFT for anxiety, kind of the whole plethora of what you might be encountering. I have something fun to give away as my gift for you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. So you can reach, well, Intuitive Mama and Heather and sign up to her newsletter so that you can receive all the tips that you need. Heather, thank you so much for sharing your story. It was beautiful to have you here. And your journey is sure to inspire countless women to chase their dreams because you've been from here to here. And sommelier is something also very great. So I'm sure you're very inspiring. Thank you for showing up today. And breakthrough barriers, because sommelier is usually a man's job, right?
True.
To all our beautiful listeners, thank you for tuning in and for sharing this powerful conversation. I can't wait to bring you another fabulous guest very soon. Until then, keep striving for greatness and à bientôt. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.